In the early morning of August 27, 1891, a passenger train left Salisbury, North Carolina, heading for Asheville. But it never got past Boston's Bridge, a 60-foot-high stone and brick arch over Third Creek. This old bridge, built in 1858, still stands today near Statesville, North Carolina, which was the next major stop on the way to Asheville. Around 3 a.m., disaster struck when the train derailed and plunged off the bridge, falling 60 feet into the creek below. 22 people lost their lives, either from the impact or drowning. It was the worst train wreck in North Carolina's history. The Salisbury-Asheville line later became part of the Southern Railway system, now Norfolk Southern. Jump ahead 50 years to the early morning of August 27, 1941. A woman, stranded along the road near the Southern Railway tracks in Statesville, waited for her husband, who had gone for help after they got a flat tire. In the quiet, she heard a distant train whistle and saw a headlight approaching down the tracks. As the train neared her, it started crossing a high bridge. Suddenly, the engine derailed, and the train plunged into the creek below. The terrible sounds of the crash were soon replaced by the groans and cries of injured passengers. The woman ran toward the wreck and looked down into the creek bed, where she saw a horrific scene. The engine, tender, and passenger cars were a twisted mess, quickly being swallowed by the rising waters. Just then, she heard a car pull up behind her. She rushed over, shouting that there had been a terrible wreck. Her husband was in the car with a local man who owned a nearby country store. The two men hurried to check out the ravine, but when they got there, nothing was there. It turned out the train she saw was a ghost, reenacting the tragic 1891 wreck. Since then, locals have been drawn to Boston's Bridge at night, hoping to catch a glimpse of the ghost train. On the 100th anniversary of the crash, August 27, 1991, stories of the haunting brought hundreds of people to the bridge. Cars lined the country road, and vendors sold shirts and drinks as people waited for the ghost train. While a few ghost hunters claimed they saw or heard something, most, including the author, agreed that nothing happened. This impromptu gathering is now becoming its own local legend. The Boston Bridge ghost train remains a fascinating piece of local folklore, drawing curious visitors and ghost hunters alike. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, the story of the Boston Bridge continues to captivate and intrigue.